Welcome to Technology and Education Today. I'm Richard Smith.
And I'm Caroline Crawford. And today we're going to be talking about different grammatical and sentence structure issues that we find throughout the courses that we review.
Yeah, every once in a while we get a chance to look at other people's courses.
As well as my own.
As well as her own, as well as my own also.
I have many of these issues that we're going to be discussing.
And this actually goes for online courses or for anything that you're going to write for training purposes. So we're going to look at some typical mistakes or errors in grammar that crop up when students read what you've written for an online course or any workshop that you might be putting together.
And again, a lot of these are my issues.
and you being an English major.
Oh gosh. Well, I love the passive voice. That's a comfort level for me. Well, it's like a third person frame, and passive is not going to work within online learning environments.
That's right.
But it's one of my horrible issues.
Right. And what is the passive voice? The classic one. When I was working for the Houston Independent School District years ago, we would find memos in writing which simply said, mistakes were made. And you never know who made the mistakes. So that's
But that's something that I would write. It's like, okay, I'm such an idiot. I did all these mistakes. No, mistakes were made.
Yeah, so that's the passive voice. We don't really say exactly what we mean. So we really mean that John and Mary made mistakes. So that you have to be specific when you are writing. Don't be passive.
Sure,
when
document
you're
it. But again, that is one of my major flaws in my writing styles, that I do use passive voice. And I understand it's very, very annoying.
Now, another one that we find is pronoun antecedent agreement. What is that?
What are we, quizzing here?
Well, I want you to explain it to the audience.
You brought it up, you explained it. I explained the passive voice.
Okay. Well, that is where you have a situation where you have a pronoun that does not really match with the noun that preceded it.
Meaning?
Here's
an example.
Here is an example. An example is, let's say that you have, in order for...
Put on the spot.
Well, no. In order for a student to succeed, students must study.
Wow, that hurts my brain. That is just difficult to understand.
Well, we start off with one student, and...
Well, that's just plurality.
They don't agree.
That's true. That's a good point.
They don't agree. If you are going to...
If he threw a ball, they could go catch it. What?
Well...
If John threw a ball, he could go. They could go catch it.
It would be the player. When the player throws a ball...
Your New York is coming out. You had a good holiday in New York,
yes.
eh?
When the player throws a ball, they must be careful to throw the ball accurately.
That's really annoying, yes.
So you can find this. This is a very common writing mistake that you'll find both in courses and these days in the way that many people write and in the way that they speak. You'll hear it pop up when news broadcasters.
That just drives me crazy. I can't watch the news anymore. I'm constantly correcting their grammar.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I think part of the problems that we have in writing on the part of students and in general is that people who broadcast the news don't really speak
well
correctly. I mean, they get into phrase, and this is just a side issue. We have breaking news. Really, what broke? I mean,
and who be we?
There's an accident working on I-45. What's the accident doing? Drilling holes in the ground? I don't know.
Considering I've been one of those accidents working on I-45, I probably shouldn't laugh.
That's true. Comma splices. Taking two perfectly good independent sentences and connecting them with a comma.
Oh gosh, yes. Well, there can be a compound sentence, which makes sense. If it's formatted appropriately.
If it's a valid compound sentence, of course. But we're talking about things.
It's a beautiful day, but I need to work.
Yes, it's a
beautiful day, comma, I need to work.
It's a
even worse.
It's a
just stop. You can't stop me.
I can't stop her, but you get the idea. You're connecting two independent sentences with a comma. I find it all the time in student writing. I also find it in courses.
Well, it's a flow of thought that unfortunately in the written word doesn't make sense. The intonation, when someone is writing it and they're listening to themselves saying it, the intonation is probably there, but when it's a written document, the intonation is no longer there, so clarity of communication is an issue.
Now this next one.
That sounded good.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh my God.
Now this next one is what we call homophone swapping.
Go for it. All right.
So a homophone.
They, and they?
Yes.
There, and there.
They are words that sound the same, are spelled differently, and have, in essence, different meanings.
T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E,
Yeah.
T-H-E-R-E, and T-H-E-Y.
Yes.
Did I already say that one?
Yeah. And that is a very common mistake that you'll
there,
find.
There, and there. Put it there.
It's a common
They're
writing.
going over here.
That's right. Put it there, and you'll find
T-H-E-R-E.
T-H-E-I.
Where? There.
T-H-E-I-R. And no, that's use their books. So that is...
Or there they are going to the movies tonight.
Yes. And that mistake is really glaring for anybody who has a basic knowledge of
that drives
grammar.
me crazy. You're right. No matter what level of written word, I see it constantly. Especially in reviewing journal manuscripts, peer-reviewed journal manuscripts. That drives me crazy. And it's kind of like data show or research shows something. Research doesn't show anything. What are you talking about? It may suggest.
It indicates. Yes, you're right. Research indicates or suggests. Careless commas. Don't you just hate it when a comma is careless? So this is a comma where you don't really need a comma,
or you really do need a comma.
And either the use of the comma or lack of use of the comma changes the entire meaning of the sentence. So you have to be very careful about the use of commas.
I use commas way too often because I like compound, complex sentences.
Yes.
Which is an issue.
And see,
it ruins the whole clarity.
And when I write courses, I try to keep my writing as simple as possible because
straightforward.
It's straightforward, and the more straightforward I keep my writing, and the simpler the sentences, the fewer questions I have on the part of students asking what I mean.
You are very good at your clarity.
Thank you.
It's very impressive. I can't do it.
I have clear clarity.
Oh.
Now, I think we have enough time to discuss one last issue, and that is possessive and plural confusion.
Okay.
And you don't have to see a psychiatrist for this at all.
Good to know.
Good to know, yes. And
I don't know where that came from, but good to know.
Well, people get confused about whether
the whole schizophrenic thing, how many personalities you may have that day.
Yeah. So you have possessive plural, possessive confusion, and possessive plural confusion.
Oh, you mean like the royal we?
No.
We're going, yes, how many personalities do you have today?
No,
just me.
And you also get into a little bit of conjunction problem there. But it's like where you have a situation.
Conjunction, where's that function?
You may be.
I think that's copyrighted.
It's copyrighted. Don't say more than that. I think we'll get away with a few lines. But it's where you have a plural. Somebody has written something that is a plural, so that you would say students, STUDENTS. That was a tough one, 2 syllables. Students need to study.
Thank goodness I like you.
And then, but instead of the word student ending in TS,
apostrophe S,
apostrophe.
Like possessive.
Yeah, and so it's a distraction because it's not. That would make it a possession. Students, talking about students need to study, and even then the sentence would be grammatically incorrect. But it's a very, very common mistake, and it's a mistake that really needs to be watched. In fact, sometimes...
But a lot of this, just going through and rereading your work, one should be able to locate
You should,
those kind of
but
concerns.
I think more and more people don't have a knowledge, basic knowledge
understanding
of
the English language.
Of the English language and grammatical rules.
Okay, so how do you respond? Understanding that these are all issues, many, especially the active versus passive tone that I always have issues with. How would you respond when people say, yes, but this is a living language and people are constantly changing the basic understanding of how we speak and write?
I would say you're illiterate, and we're not going to discuss this further.
Wow!
And we have reached the end of yet another edition of Technology
I'm
and
so happy you're
Education
here.
Today. I'm Richard Smith.
And I'm Caroline Crawford. Bye! You're illiterate?